All right, so we know that tour players, right? Check out Dustin Johnson here throwing the pigskin around. We know that they're great athletes, right? And I know too, you, right? You played other sports, you played other games growing up, and you were pretty good at those, right? Why is golf so hard? Why is it so difficult to get in the right positions? So I want you to take a look today, right? We're gonna kind of try to feel some things from, say, throwing a football, throwing a baseball, tennis ball, whatever you're gonna throw. Our ancestors throwing a spear, right, to kill something. It's a very basic, simple motion, okay? And it's what I call just setting the trail arm, right? So when our trail arm sets, there's a couple very simple things that happen. Typically it sets at about a 90-degree angle, right? You can see the bottom of my trail arm is parallel to the ground. I've got a nice little 90-degree here, very simple, right? Goes up like this. And that's important too because that kind of gives it the most structure, right? Think of like a barrier in a building, something holding up the ceiling, right? It would be at a 90-degree angle. It wouldn't be at some different angle. So I'm not going to take the thing back like this, and I'm not going to have it like this, okay? So that'd be kind of step number one. Very simple, goes to about a 90. Number two is we need to kind of load the shoulder. So all that means is when I get back into this kind of set position, my shoulder, I feel a little stretched right up across just the ball joint of my shoulder here. And I know at this point now, from my pec to my trail arm, this is all engaged as I go to move forward. Everything is just one solid unit being pulled through, okay? And good golfers do the same thing in their backswing. Bad golfers, unfortunately, do not, okay? So what I mean by that is the things that I typically see good golfers do, you're going to see look pretty weird if I show you with a football. But I see so many out there that are really trying to make this really big turn. They're trying to turn back farther, thinking that the farther I turn this way, the farther I'm going to be able to whip that ball out there. And that's just not true, right? Think of that if I was throwing a football and I really crank my arm and my body back like this, you can see that's not going to give me any more force going forward. All we need is this. And you go, okay, well, that's fine, Zach, right? But that's not a golf swing. I'm like, well, look. If I get my trail arm up here, you can see a little pressure went into my trail leg and my trail glute as I go to throw it. If I just put my lead arm up, you see how that's creating some turn? So this set position right here, put my lead arm across, now we've got a nice little backswing. Did I turn? Like, watch it again. Watch how much I turned here. Here, here. So I'm not doing a lot of this stuff that I see so many golfers doing, especially in their backswing. I'm seeing a lot of the arm pulling back. Anytime I see somebody really trying to emphasize turn your body, turn your shoulders, I see a lot of pull, like I'm starting a lawnmower with this trail arm. And it really gets us into a position on the backswing to where this trail arm is too far behind our body. And when we come down, we're going to be in a lot of trouble here. Okay, so taking it from football, right? Set your trail arm very simply. Here, I feel like I could hang close from this. It's nice and solid. I feel a little stretch in this shoulder. And then all we've got to do is just put our lead arm up there, right? Let's go ahead and do it with a club now. So taking it from here, I would just start with your trail arm, work it up to the top. I feel that same 90-degree stretch. And then I just put my lead arm up there. And you can see I've got a perfectly full 90-degree looking turn. I really haven't turned that much. More of it is I've loaded my trail leg slightly, right? I've set my arm, and then I've just reached back, and that's really all that I need right there, okay? So I want you to kind of get rid of that notion of trying to turn away from the golf ball. When people do that, they end up turning too flat. They end up taking their vision sometimes off the golf ball. The club starts to work around and inside. There's so many things that start to happen that are not exactly correct, right? Just kind of wasted movements. So bringing this out to the course, I would just say the best thing to do once you've done a couple reps of just kind of swinging up and getting like this, right? Here I am throwing a football. I mean, obviously the only small difference is my body's inclined downwards towards the ball. Rather than up here, I'd be kind of throwing more parallel to the ground. So my trail arm is set, my right side, my right leg, my right foot, my right glute, all feels loaded. I feel pressure there. And then I just reach up with my lead arm. Now I feel a little more stretch across my back, and it feels like I've turned, okay? And then I just transfer and move through. So I've done a couple reps with just one arm only. Let's get that same feeling to the top, okay? And I want you to kind of program yourself, because we all see what we want to see. If this looks like a turn to you, see, this would be my impression of somebody really turning. You see how different that looks there? And the problem with this is I'm really not loaded when I go about it in this fashion. So I know if you first look, this is going to look like a turn. I promise you, I'm really not turning that much, okay? I got a great piece of footage here. This is Rick Smith, right? Great golf teacher, taught Phil Mickelson, taught Lee Janzen. He's briefly talking about Jack Nicklaus, and he's talking about how when Nicklaus learned from his teacher, Jack Grout, how he never tried to turn. He describes it as the width of his backswing is what creates his turn, or his appearance of a turn. He's not actually turning, okay? So let's listen in on that real quick.
I said, Jack, your width was great. I said, and it taught a lot of my guys at the time, the width created the turn. I said, did you ever in your life, Jack Grout, did you ever think of turning? He said, never, not once. And I went, wow, how about that? Turning, he said, turn comes from my width. And then as you get width, right, and you get turn, the club would get a little deeper by nature. So Jack would make him get wide, and then he'd say, Jackie, hands to the sky. So hence, hands to the sky.
So his hands pulled his body.
Hands pulled his body.
So you heard it, never did he try to turn, right? Greatest golfer of all time, one of the greatest teachers of all time, Jack Grout, never did he try to get him to turn. Even though when you look at Nicklaus, it looks like a massive, powerful turn. He hit the ball so far, right? It's an optical illusion, okay? We're just getting to the top, the right arm setting, and then from that, me putting my lead arm, I've got this appearance like I've rotated. So once you've kind of gained that sensation of like, okay, set my arm to the top, set my arm to the top. And the thing that I can feel when I do this, I'm very target oriented, which means when I set up, I've always got this image of my intermediate target just out in front of me. When I take my trail arm to the top in that fashion, my swing is pointed right at that same spot still. When I do any of this turning away from the golf ball, I can feel that my swing is now misaligned because I'm turning off of where I actually started from. When I make the right feeling and I just set my right arm at the top, oh, I feel like I'm perfectly oriented towards that target still, and I think you'll have that same sensation. Just another side benefit of kind of the proper trail arm action at the top. So all I think before I go to swing is I'm just envisioning my ending point. I've got 90, I could hang close from this, I feel a little stretch in this trail shoulder, and I'm just bringing the club up to that same spot. Boom, right there. And then let's go ahead and hit one. Hey, it's your coach, Zach Allen here. And if you'd like to permanently eliminate your slice, add 20 or more yards to your drives, and make consistently flush contact swing after swing, then I've got just the thing for you. I'm about to show you a method that will fix your swing fast. In fact, we often see huge improvements on the very first swing. Since I don't have enough time in this short video, I've put together a 3-part mini clinic where I walk you through the exact process. Nothing held back. I call it the One Swing Fix, and you can get the entire thing free of charge by clicking the link in the description below. The training isn't available anywhere else, so go ahead, click the link right now, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, now let's get back to today's lesson. So if you're having issues with what your trail arm is doing, what your pivot's doing, just simplify your backswing, right? Let's kind of learn from these great athletes like Dustin Johnson. He's probably not a, Harvard scholar, but he sure knows how to get his body into the right positions to be simple and efficient. Let's learn from other sports that you've played when you're younger. Let's keep it really simple out there and have a lot of fun at the same time, right? I hope these drills help you out. Please feel free to subscribe. Our subscriber base is growing. Feel free to like the video, give me a comment, give me any questions, anything that you guys have got, I would love to hear it. I try to answer all the comments down below. But if not, here's another great video that talks a little bit about more what the right arm does in the downswing, if you're liking this association, right? Because many people are very right side oriented, right? They really feel the swing through their trail arm. So if you like that, I would suggest going through videos that are more about the trail arm. I hope that makes sense to you. Until next video, have a great week.